So hi everybody, it's Jane from Living Skies Vintage, and today I'm doing a little experiment with watercolor paper. Now I'm a brand new watercolorist. I've been using some Strathmore paper to try some different paint things, and I've been told that the Arches paper is a much better paper to use to get a better effect of the actual watercolor. So I've got a little piece of Arches here, and I've got my Strathmore over here, and I thought what I would do is do a side-by-side test of some swatching and see how it goes from dark to light, and then maybe just do a small little on the bottom and see how that goes. So let's get started. I'm going to change the speed of this and speed it up for you, so I won't keep talking, but that's my plan, and let's see how they compare. I'll stop every once in a while. We'll talk about it. All right? Okay, let's go. Okay, so we're back. I have let these two pictures dry overnight. I've taken off the washi tape that I had on the edges so we could look at them a little closer. Uh, and so I can see why people love the Arches. The Arches kept the water available for your paint to move through it quite a bit longer than the Strathmore did. You can tell here how this purple kind of really spread all the way up to the top. I had left that wet. You saw in the video, tried to treat all of these areas basically the same way. In the Strathmore, it does travel, but it doesn't travel quite as much. Here, I just tried to kind of do a shading. I didn't feel that was that terribly much different, but definitely as you leave paint on top of the the uh, the first layer, similar to this, I think just the paint stays in a smaller area if you drop it in drops, whereas with the Strathmore, it tends to spread out more. Strathmore more. Um, Here, when I did this experiment, I had the blue and the yellow were both wet on both sides, and then I tried to put just some clean water in between to allow the paint to go from one side to the other. Didn't travel very much on the Strathmore, but you can see, after this completely dried, exactly how much that paint traveled on the Arches. So, you're getting different effects inside here a lot easier than what was happening here, which just kind of looked a little more like a stain. So, look, depending on the look that you're going for. At that point, I had also dropped my paintbrush, I believe, so I did a blip blip and it kind of got a whole bunch of spots everywhere. But that was good because I was interesting to see how the paint splotches on the Arches really kind of are quite a bit softer than the paint splotches on the Strathmore. So you can see the Strathmore just isn't absorbing the water as much and allowing that paint to flow over the surface. Same thing here. I just did something really dark, really thick paint so that I was going to be able to leave a big water spot at the front, and then just see how that dragged through with a little bit of water. And that was really nice shading this way. This one left a lot of the original brush work. It just dried so fast. Dried faster than the arches. And that makes a big difference to your watercolor and how it moves. Oh, this was interesting too. When I put the red in here, so I put one red stripe all the way across on a wet surface to allow it to go this way. I had put the purple over here and allowed the water to go that way. And see how much, like, it actually went to all the corners of where the water blob was on the arches and spread evenly out, where on the Strathmore it did reach down, but it just didn't fill it out as much. And then to top it off, I put the blue in between this and this. This was still somewhat wet, and this was also, both of them. And you can see it really did, it spread a lot more in the arches into the blue and the red, more like a soft meld. Whereas with this one, it was a little more granulated. So, you know, it's kind of like, what is it that you want to get your paints to do? And I'm certainly going to keep using my Strathmore. There's certainly nothing wrong with it. And I'm going to keep using the arches, of course. But I think the next step is to try a little painting. So I'm not a teacher. I'm just experimenting with this and describing what I see are the differences. And people have been saying that you need to have good paper. This is going to be a lot of fun to play with, but this is also fun to play with. So if you can't afford the good paper, use something that you just use some good cold pressed paper, and I think you'll be happy with it. You just need to know how to work with it. But if you can, step up to this and let's see those colors flow. I'm gonna see what I can do with the picture. I did this picture, I think I showed it to you earlier. Now this is on Strathmore paper. I did this just a day or two ago. Kind of an abstract watercolor. I like playing with it. So I'm going to do something similar on the arches paper, and we'll see how that turns out. And maybe you'll be able to, I will tape some of that in fast time, and then we'll talk and we'll compare again. All right, see you in a little bit.